Hey everybody, over the last 2 weeks I've managed to go on a couple little road trips to some greenhouses and nurseries, some very local and some a little further afield. And when I was out there, I managed to find some plants that I'm really interested in because they're varieties that we don't carry here at Netta's. So I love the fact that I was able to find some really interesting varieties, things that I either want to try and either I'm going to grow them myself or I'm going to have my sister grow them so that we can keep an eye on them and get an idea of how they grow and what it's like to grow them right here in our area. So the first place I went to was the Amish greenhouse. It's right here in Posen, and it's on Darga Highway. So if you're heading north from Netta's, you turn left on Darga Highway, which is just a couple miles north of Posen, and just follow that to the end. And it's just a small little operation. They had a lot of tomatoes, a couple of other vegetables, and different flowers and things. And it's just a nice little place that has just a little bit of everything. There I managed to get the Daisy Falls osteospermum or osteo. And this is a trailing variety, which makes it really unique because most of our osteos are upright, and if they had all three colors, so I had to get all three colors. We're going to put them in a basket and see how they do. We had one of this variety, the purple, in one of our combos this year, so that's how we were testing it. But when I saw the varieties where we could plant them up ourselves, I really wanted to give them a go. I was reminded though when I see them, because it's a trailing variety, they kind of grow kind of wild a little bit, and they might be able to be trained a little bit with some trimming or whatnot, I'm not sure, but it does make it so on the bench they don't look as attractive, so it's a little tricky on bench, but when they're in baskets they look great because they just kind of fall out. So we'll probably plant a lot of them in baskets and only have a couple of them available as individuals because I think people, at least for the first year, are going to need to kind of see how they look in a basket before they're going to just jump on something that looks like this. It scares people. But anyway, so I picked those up there. Then I went onwards to Fresh Coast, and this is a brand new greenhouse in Rogers City. It's just on Business 23, and there was a greenhouse on that location in the past, and I talked to Justin over there, and he's been kind of turning it around, and he has made some excellent choices there. So number one, he's got really great plants. He's going to have some shrubs in there, probably some trees, and they redid the little shed that was there and turned it into a really cute shop, like really nice Michigan-made products in there, and it's a really nice environment inside there. So I would recommend stopping there because I think that's in and of itself makes it a destination, and it's a good addition to some of the other shops in downtown Rogers City, like the Painted Lady and is it Mr. Mustache and the Chocolate Shop. All those kind of places do make Rogers City a nice little stop on your way heading north. So, and the plants that he has, I was just really happy to see that he's chosen some really good varieties. What I picked up there, I picked up some bunny tails grass. This one here won't look like much now, but as the summer goes on, it gets these little poof ball type plumes on it that are really quite interesting. I've never grown it, so I'm looking forward. I was really glad to see it there. And then I also picked up some hypoestes. We had hypoestes kind of ordered for this year, and it got canceled on us. And this is a good shade plant. It's just a foliage plant, and this is kind of a red variety. There's also like a pink and a white and a little bit more of a greeny one. So I just want to see how this does. But we did try to get it, and then we tried it from another source, and they didn't have it. So I was really happy that he had it. And it's just in this little 4-pack, so like super affordable too, so that was nice. But he has a really good selection, and this really makes me want to remind you guys to, no matter which one of these places you end up at, make sure you support all these small and local greenhouses and nurseries, because if you don't support us, we're not going to be around. And I don't have to tell you the value of supporting local small businesses, but I will tell you that supporting local nurseries and greenhouses is even more important, because if not, you're going to be at the mercy of those big box stores, and they kind of have a different kind of mentality than a lot of independent growers or a lot of independent plant sellers, because we're going to be focused on the quality of the plant and plants that do well in this area. We're just kind of grouped into a region, and they just send us plants that they can get for the lowest price, and a lot of times they're charging us a premium price for maybe a second tier plant. I just want to make sure you guys support all these small businesses when you're there, even if you're just buying a little, one plant or a little hanging basket or something, or go there frequently so that you can see what else they have. I think it also helps the businesses get to know what our customers really want. The more you share with us, the more kind of localized and personal we can kind of make our products and what we have. So support all these businesses is what I'm saying. And I will say Fresh Coast is a really nice place. The other place I went to Debs in Rogers City. That's right on US 23. And I picked up, where did it go? It's an echinacea called Pollination. Is this it? There. No, it's one that we had tried to get, but it got canceled on us, so we didn't get it. And I love the fact that it's a name. You don't know what color you're getting because it's a mix, but it's one that is supposed to have a lot of profuse flowering, and it's just supposed to be a good one for pollinators. You're going to get a lot of butterflies and bees especially on this. So echinacea is always great for that, but this is just one that I just was looking for, and I was happy to see she had it. Then I went onwards to Oceanique, and Christie's greenhouse is one that opened up, I think it was last year. She may have had plants a little bit before that as well. And two of the things that I picked up, she has some really good varieties as well. So I did get this coleus here. It's called Stained Glassworks Golden Gate. The leaf looks a lot like the Color Blaze El Brighto from Proven Winners. I don't know that it gets all the pink and peach colors that we'll see on that El Brighto, but I did want to see what it looked like growing next to an El Brighto, because this has really got some nice color, and we definitely need more of the coleuses with yellows and pinks. We get a lot of burgundies and greens, but you know, this is just a little more unique. And she also had the Dynamo light pink geranium, and this has been, everywhere I see this one, I absolutely love it, because it's one of the few light pink geraniums out there. We just haven't been able to find great light pinks. We had this one ordered, got canceled on us. That's kind of the bane of our business, where, you know, we can order stuff in September and we don't find out that they're not sending it to us until, say, March 1st or something like that, which is always unfortunate. So this is a variety that we are trying to get. We tried to get the Dynamo light pink and the Dynamo orange, because their orange is a really nice orange geranium as well. So I would recommend Dynamos. They're a nice big geranium. They grow really well. Let's see. The other one I stopped at was in Mackinac City, and there I got the, is it Glamorati or Glamorama? Glamorati or something like that. Let's see. Glamoflage, sorry, the Glamoflage petunia. And I'm going to be honest with you, I actually don't really like this petunia, but part of it has to do with being a grower. If I see leaves like this on a petunia, it usually means one of two things. Either the pH in my water is really off and I've got to try to get it more neutralized because the plant isn't able to get iron, and that means I need to add iron to it. So it's got a nutrition deficiency. Usually it's iron when it has this variegation going on, this yellow leaf. But this one is supposed to have that. It has some pink flowers. I waited to record this video until the flowers opened. I've seen this at the trial gardens. The flowers are nice, but it doesn't get tons of them. So it's not my favorite petunia by far, but it is really unusual and unique. Those leaves definitely make it a different petunia from any other one. So Glamoflage, just want to, I got it for Stacy because I know that the yellow leaves are going to drive her crazy, because she's always on the hunt for plants that need a little fertilizer. So I just couldn't resist this one. They also had the Supertunia persimmon from Proven Winners, and so that's what this one here is. And you can see the color on it. We have the Flower Showers Mayan Sunset, and so when I look at them here, this Proven Winners one, the Supertunia persimmon, the color looks a little duller, but I've seen these two growing side by side at the trial gardens, and the flowers were actually a little more similar. So I think this one is just ready to get into a new pot. I'm going to plant these in the same container so that I can look at them side by side. When I say I saw them side by side, I actually had to pluck a bloom off of one and walk across the garden and put them side by side at the trial garden. And it was very hard to tell the difference between the flowers on these. So it'll be interesting to see how the habit compares and how the flowers compare. So I'm going to be putting those into matching pots. Then I was in Marquette, Michigan, and came across some varieties I wanted to try. So there's this portulaca, however you like to pronounce it, from Proven Winners, Mojave Yellow. And this one, everywhere I've seen it, it's really lush, big, and it is portulaca, so the flowers do close up at night or when it's dark out. The flowers do stay open pretty late on this one. I noticed yesterday, the sun was just starting to go down when the flowers closed up, but they're really bright yellow. That's the best I can do for showing you the flowers, but it's a really nice one. So I wanted to just test it out myself. And then I had kind of written this off. This is called an Intensia, and this is an annual phlox. So we have garden phloxes that we sell, our garden phlox, and but they're usually pinks and purples and things like that. This one here is an annual, and this red is just a beautiful red. Gets about the size of a geranium in general, and it is a self-cleaning variety, and I can see where the flowers have fallen off. I mean, the petals just kind of fall to the ground, and then you're just left. It's kind of like verbena, where it just has that little bit of a skeleton left. But this has been looking exactly like this with all these flowers for 2 weeks. You know, nothing has changed. This is also an intensia. It's called blueberry. This one is called red hot. The color on this one is great. I love it. It's a beautiful little star in the flower. Again, still flowering. So I'm going to keep an eye on this because I'm not sure if it's going to bloom right till frost. The tag suggests that it will, but I want to see it for myself. And if it does, if it is really that easy to grow, I definitely want us to carry it, and I definitely want to share it with you. But we're going to test it first and find out. While I was in Marquette, they start Lizianthus from seed, and we used to carry Lizianthus, but we're not able to get it in a bigger size anymore. We can only get it as tiny little plugs, and we wouldn't be able to even get them to this size in time. We'd have to have the greenhouses fired up really early. So I got these for my mom because she does love her Lizzies, and so I did find these in Marquette. They start them there. Then I was also in Crivitz, Wisconsin, driving through, and I stopped at Sharkey's and found a couple of things. So this one here is coleus called henna, and I've seen this one in the trial gardens. I did want to grow it myself too because it's beautiful. The underside is nice and kind of red. Meanwhile, you get kind of more of a green color on the other side. It's got a little bit of a splotchy kind of pattern to it, so it's really pretty, and so I wanted to have that one on hand. They also had the Rocky Mountain orange geranium. We used to grow that one, but I wanted to bring it in so that we could compare the flowers to some of the other oranges that we have, because orange is a tricky one with geraniums, because sometimes the corals look more orange, sometimes the oranges look more red, and we just like to kind of, when it says orange, we know, especially people in like Rogers City and Hillman, they want orange because their sports teams have orange and black as their color. So we like to get a true orange that, you know, is going to have their school spirit in it. And then I also managed to get this begonia, and this has been blooming since it arrived. It's called Glory Bicolor, and it's got that nice double flower, and it just keeps going. I love how it's kind of got the pink blush on the outside and then a little bit of creamy yellow on the inside. Just really nice. So we're going to see how this one does as well. Should check, is this a sun or shade? Part sun to shade, so this one can't take the full sun, but it's you know, a really nice begonia. So hey everybody, I'm really happy that I had a chance to show you all these plants. These are the ones that I would get. All these places had other plants that I was kind of desperate to get, but a lot of them were kind of similar to what we carried, so I didn't want to get those. But every single place has its own kind of unique personality and identity. So you should go out on a road trip, check these places out, and you know, give them a go and try some new plants this year. And hey, buy a little bit from all of us.